All right, so here's how Trump should deal with DACA and the shutdown. First off, you can't take Nancy Pelosi seriously, right? First off, she vacationed during the shutdown. She flew to Hawaii, vacationed in Hawaii. They couldn't get a hold of her. And then you have a bunch of congressional leaders, congressional politicians going to Puerto Rico to have a vacation with a bunch of lobbyists during the shutdown. And then you have Nancy Pelosi trying to go to Brussels and Egypt and Afghanistan during the shutdown, clearly showing that her focus and her concern isn't on the government employees that she claims to so desperately love and care for, and she wants to end the shutdown and all this kind of nonsense. First off, let me just tell it like it is. I wish that President Trump would ask Mitch McConnell to bring forth some legislation that would say, hey, listen, let's fund all essential government employees. Let's make sure they get paid. Let's put the pressure on Nancy Pelosi to sign some legislation and go along with Mitch McConnell on that front. As for the non-essential employees, I think what we're seeing is all the fat that isn't needed in government. And I feel for these people. These people aren't getting their paychecks, but I feel for myself too, because I don't think that taxpayers should be funding 25% of a federal government that isn't necessary. What I would say for them, I'm sorry, but what we should do is offer them a severance package. A severance package, I don't care if it's a year's worth of severance package. I don't care if it's 2 years, quite frankly. In the long run, it's going to cost us less money than this bloated government that we have. So what's happening right now? Right now, what President Trump has offered, and I got my Ghetto Fabulous notes here, but what President Trump has offered as of yesterday is $5.7 billion is what he's asking for the border wall in exchange for DACA protection for 3 years for children of illegal immigrants that are in the country. And listen, I believe the bills should be totally separate, but they're not. So if we're going to do this, President Trump, this is amnesty, by the way. You're going to see a bunch of even conservative pundits on my side saying this isn't amnesty because it's not permanent. What the heck do you think is going to happen in 3 years? Republicans and Democrats are going to be in the same position, kicking this can down the road, and eventually this is going to come to amnesty. So let's go ahead and end this. Let's go ahead and do this right. What we should do and what President Trump should do is he should absolutely go for the gusto when it comes to the border wall. He should demand all funding. I want, if it's 1,000 miles of wall that needs to be built, I want funding for all of it. I want funding for new judges, new immigration judges. I want however many border agents are going to be needed, new border agents. Whether it's 2,700, whether it's 5,000, I want them. Like I said, I want the new judges. Whatever humanitarian aid we need to offer to help those that have tried to cross and send them back in a healthy way, let's go ahead and do that. But we cannot incentivize rapists, terrorists, gang members, human traffickers. We can't incentivize them through this stuff anymore. So we need to make it permanent. We want permanent border security, including the wall and everything else that encompasses. That's what he should be saying. If you're going to offer amnesty, when you offer amnesty for these DACA recipients, but here's the deal. Okay, they need to get in back of the line, at least when it comes to voting. So listen, no voting for you for 15 to 20 years. Period. If you're offered amnesty, no voting for 15 to 20 years, and let's go ahead and sew up the bleeding right now. But let's go ahead and have this fight. I appreciate the fact that President Trump has the courage to have the fight, but let's have the fight. Let's have the real fight. Let's get this stuff resolved once and for all, because all that's happening, listen, my Latino and Latina brothers and sisters, all that's happening is you're being used just like black people have been used over the world as a political ping pong. Let's just stop it. Let's just do what's fair. We know that Republicans and Democrats do not want border security. President Trump is there to ensure that this happens. Let's get it all done, President Trump. Let's get this wall. Get 1,000 miles worth of wall. Get those judges. Get the border security. Get the new agents on the border. Get your humanitarian aid. Get it all. Because if you're going to offer these people amnesty in order to disincentivize future illegal immigration, we need to nip this thing in the bud. No voting for DACA immigrants once that bill is signed for 10 to 15 years. They do not have the right to jump in front of the line in front of legal immigrants who followed our laws and did things the right way.